What the hell is going on out there? If you wonder why I'm dressed up in my Expos uniform and now my Green Bay Packers cap, I'm going to talk about sports leagues and teams and players and the political correctness that has infected the sports. But first of all, that phrase, what the hell is going on out there? You want to know where that came from? Well, that's why I'm wearing my Green Bay Packers cap right now. It's a famous line from Vince Lombardi, caught on the sidelines in the 1960s. Take a look. What the hell's going on out here? Everybody... And that's what many Rhode Islanders and Americans are asking. What the hell is going on out here with our sports teams, with our sports leagues? Welcome to another edition of In the Dugout with Mike Stenhouse. Today's going to be a solo session. You know, back when I played, I used to sit in the dugout before a game and just think about things, think about the game, life, whatever. So today I'm thinking out loud to you, replicating those days. And as you know, all our guests are invited to wear a jersey or a cap of their favorite team. You know, I saw this headline, and I want to share this with you too. I saw this headline the other day that really made me motivated to do this commentary. Boston Celtics, here we are in the playoffs in the NBA in this pandemic shortened and altered season. Celtics try to refocus on basketball. Now, for those of you that remember, this happened after they took some time off to protest. The whole league shut down, other leagues shut down to protest what's going on with the supposed racial injustice in this country. But what's wrong with this picture? Celtics try to refocus on basketball. Why should they ever have lost their focus on basketball? Whether it's illness, family matters, financial matters, everybody has disruptions in their life. I was a former big league player. We were professionals. We didn't bring those problems to the ballpark to interfere with the work I and my teammates were trying to get done on behalf of the organization. Why is politics different? Why are we bringing this into the workplace? I mean, and so many workplaces, right? I mean, it's not just sports. We're going to talk that in a minute, but refocus on basketball? What kind of organization, coach, or teammate would you be to ever let your focus get off of basketball? That's what being a professional is. That's what having a mission is. I just don't understand why an organization would want to take a political stand, any political stand, that would automatically alienate up to half or more of its fans, its constituents, the people who pay money that give them all jobs and give them a team and allow them to have a league. I don't care if it's I can't watch an NBA game with that Black Lives Matter pasted across every court. I couldn't watch a game if it said Make America Great Again either. It doesn't matter what the message is. This is not what their profession is. And we're going to get into the more societal aspects of this in a minute. But I want to tell you a few things that just astounded me. I mean, the NFL is I don't know if you can get worse than the NBA, but the NFL is getting close. The NFL at least sort of took a stand against kneeling for the anthem, but now they're wide open accepting it. Well, have you seen what else they're going to do? So, you know, I just don't, again, I can't understand what people are doing. So first of all, the players are going to be walking billboards for social justice. The NFL is going to allow every player to put a message and or a name of some victim on the back of their helmets. So get used to seeing players, you know, and of course the announcers breathlessly praising players for becoming walking billboards for social justice. And the coaches apparently, and even referees are going to be allowed to wear messages like this. Here's what else the NFL is doing. Nike apparently has made a T-shirt. We don't know what the social justice messaging is going to be, but apparently players can opt to wear in the pregame. So we'll see how that goes. End zones. I don't know if they mean the whole end zones or the end lines of the end zone. That's the out of bounds part. But there's going to be big messaging there in every NFL field, apparently. One's going to say it takes all of us on one end zone. The other end zone is going to say end racism. Each week, the NFL is going to select one victim, and you're going to hear about that victim. Obviously, a victim of police brutality, throughout the broadcast, through little vignettes or commentaries from players or the announcers. We don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but they're going to focus on one victim a week. And we've been told that this Breonna Taylor will probably be the one who we will see most often. And it's not just in sports. Well, no, but there's another issue that I can't wait to see. What if some players decide not to put a message or the name of a victim on the back of their helmets, or they choose not to wear the unofficially mandated Nike social justice T-shirts that the NFL has authorized? What if someone stands? Will they be criticized? Will they be pressured to backtrack and conform? Well, that's already happened. I mean, take a look at this headline, also from the Providence Journal. And Kevin Pillar, who just as of a day or two ago was former Red Sox player. You know, last week when the Red Sox themselves decided not to play a game against the Toronto Blue Jays and do their silent protest, Kevin Pillar apparently said, you know, I don't know if this is the right thing to do. I'm not sure it really gets anything accomplished. Oh boy, he must have heard it. He must have heard it from his players, his teammates. He must have heard it from the team or the league or the players union or I don't know who, but he revisited his comments. So again, only one political view is tolerated and allowed by these sports leagues. Just one. And if you don't conform, you'll get the peer pressure big time, if not a direct order. What the hell is going on out there? This is not free speech. This is not America. This is not what these institutions were formed to be. We're there to play sports. They're there to give us a relief, us as a fan. I want to watch the Red Sox. I want to watch my Green Bay Packers. I want to watch a game without worrying about getting pissed off about some political advocacy I may or may not agree with. We don't need that in sports. It's not the mission of sports. I mean, religion. Pope Francis. This was astounding, man. I mean, this goes back a long time ago, 6, 7 years, I think. Remember when Pope Francis came to America and he spoke to a joint session of Congress? And I watched the whole thing. I'm a Catholic. And I was like, he's not saying anything about God or faith or religion or Jesus Christ, our Savior. He said nothing. All he talked about is how he was advising our government how we have to do this and we have to do that. And that's fine if he says those things, but shouldn't the Pope, shouldn't he at least talk about religion? And one of my staff members, also very Catholic, said, oh, I can't believe he did. So we went back and checked the transcripts. Not one word about any of those things. Not one word about God, church, faith, Jesus Christ, religion. Nothing. How can that happen? What the hell is going on out there? It even happened locally. Allie's Donuts, you know, famous donuts in Rhode Island. You remember what they did a couple of months ago? All of a sudden they decided, well, because of this police thing, we're no longer going to join the bandwagon. We're no longer going to offer free donuts to police, because that was a tradition at donut shops. Police could have free donuts. Now they've backtracked and they're saying, well, we're going to encourage people to come and get a half a dozen free donuts. We'll give you free donuts, then you can bring them to police. Oh no, but we don't want police in our shop. What the hell is going on out there? What the hell does politics have to do with donuts? There's a great author, Yuval Levin. No, this is not showing up too well on the screen. I can see. Let me see how I can get this to you here. There we go. I guess I got to hold it back further. Oh, well, trust me, there's a guy, there's a guy named Yuval Levin who wrote a book called A Time to Build. So this next part of my current commentary is going to be mostly based on his concepts with some of my thoughts and comments mixed in. You won't know which ones are which, but just know that Yuval Levin, Y-U-V-L-A-N, L-E-V-I-N, Yuval. He talked about, in a previous book, how the government from the outside is squishing our societal institutions, such as church and nonprofit organizations and neighborhood associations and even businesses to some effect. It's squishing it from the outside, and from the inside, this anarchist, individualist craze where we do whatever we want as individuals, damn be anybody else, damn if I infringe on their rights, is pushing pressure from the inside, and we're squishing society. We're squishing and crowding out these societal institutions that really were the foundation of our great American democracy, our great American growth, and what I think is our great American morality. Because when you're in an institution, when you're interacting with people, there's a little peer pressure there, right? To follow the norms, to be accepted. Everybody wants to be accepted. But today, everybody is increasingly isolated in our own little home silos and with our own little tribal beliefs, and anybody outside of that is bad, and we're not interacting normally with people like we used to. We're not going to church as much. We're not going to work as much, especially after this pandemic. We're not getting involved in volunteers with nonprofits. Neighborhood associations are down. These are all healthy things, healthy community and societal institutions that we need to preserve. So in his first book, he kind of blamed government for pushing from the outside, and this kind of crazed individual anarchist mania from the inside for squeezing out these societal institutions. But in his second book, A Time to Build, and I'm so disappointed you can't see that, he says, but these institutions themselves are at fault. These institutions themselves have failed to preserve that unique, narrow, and compelling reasons why people got involved with them in the first place, and have instead poisoned their missions by becoming nothing more than a petty, banal platform for politics, like sports teams. Why do the Red Sox put a big BLM banner on the outside of their stadium and keep it in center field in their ballpark, or put it on the back of the mounds? Why is the NFL doing all this social justice political messaging? Why are corporations donating millions and millions of dollars to support Marxist, anti-American philosophies and movements? Why is our educational system, both at the primary K through 12 and secondary education, why are they teaching such anti-American propaganda, I would call it? Why have we allowed their missions of these institutions? I go to church. I hear a one-sided message from what should be, against politicians who support their stands. It's weird. Why are these organizations, these societal institutions, being corrupted by petty politics? What the hell is going on out there? Why is that happening? We don't know why it's happening, but we do know that it's bad they happen. Just think, you go to a church, take my case, I go to a church, a Catholic church, to hear the message of Jesus Christ. Do I want my priest talking about politics or the president or some other candidate in either a good or a bad, in an overly flattering, overly negative way? No. That's not why I go to church. What the hell's going on out there? Whatever organization you joined. I buy a product because I like the product. But now I've got to wonder, oh, well, that's the product I like, but I really don't know what I should do when I see them taking such a political stance that I don't like. Maybe I should switch to another product. Why did I do that? I joined a nonprofit. I support a nonprofit because I like their mission. Now all of a sudden, a non-political, our center is meant to be political. That's what we are. But you join us, right? Because we are a conservative think tank. But just think of a food drive nonprofit. All of a sudden, they're making political statements. Well, there's certainly going to be some number of people who support that organization who aren't going to like that message. Why have we just muddied the waters with that? What the hell is going on? These institutions gave us a chance to commune with others and share a common goal or work towards a common goal. And if we stayed focused on that, it was great. It was a safe place for us to go, where I knew everybody involved had the same ideas that I have, at least as it had to do with the mission of the organization. But now when these organizations start getting into politics and feel they have to get involved, now I go there and I don't, I like what they did with the politics, but I don't, but that person doesn't. Now we've got conflict. Why? What the hell's going on? Why does everybody feel like they have to corrupt their mission with politics? Levin, in his book, and this is not Mark Levin, Yuval Levin, also makes an interesting point, that social media, which was supposed to be a tool to bring us together, a way to communicate with people we haven't seen for a while, might be distant from us. And it did do that early on, but like everything else, social media became nothing more than not just petty and banal, but it became a vicious platform for politics. Marriages broken up, friendships dissolved. Why? What the hell is going on out there? In fact, social media has made us more lonely. We're taking shots at each other, hiding behind our keyboards. We're not out there interacting with people in these social institutions the way we used to. We're social beings. Humans are social beings. We're designed, we're wired, our genes to interact with people, not to hide behind some technology platform. And that's not a relationship. And the other thing Levin talked about, and I did happen to be on a national conference call with him. I don't know, I didn't get to the end of his book, so I don't know if it's in his book, but he talked about something he calls the calamity culture, where you take any problem, and all of a sudden it's the end of the world. If we don't solve this problem, you're going to die, or the earth's going to die, or you're going to become incinerated, or you're going to die of this or that. Everything now, we can't just take a problem and rationally fix it. We have to make it headline news. We have to make it a calamity, and it has to be do or die. And these calamities become a religion. The fear of these become a religion in and of themselves. It becomes politics. The news media is driving this. Americans, I think, we're thirsting for hope of a bright future, of renewal of our human spirits and community and working together on whatever the issue is. We don't want to feel compelled, just like Kevin Pillar did to the Red Sox. We don't want to be compelled to follow some elitist or some person in power, whether that's in our workplace or in politics or in our neighborhoods. We don't want to be compelled to do what somebody else or some other group of people demand that we do. That's not what being a human being is. That's not what being free is, especially in America. But that's what's going on. And and these leaders of these institutional organizations, whether they're sports leagues or churches or corporations or nonprofits, educational leaders, professors, we need to start holding them accountable when they fail to focus on their core mission. How could the Boston Celtics ever get unfocused from basketball? A failure of leadership in the organization, a failure of leadership in the league, a failure of leadership among the players themselves. Say, hey, come on, teammate. Keep that. You want to go protest, do it outside the workplace. Don't bring your problems, your views into our workplace when those views have nothing to do with the work we're trying to accomplish. It takes leadership. And that's what our society is missing right now. Nobody, you see very few people willing to stand up and lead. Instead, we see sheeple, people willing to follow whatever it is the Pied Piper tells them to do. Their Pied Piper within their little tribal silo. And that's where this identity politics and victimization comes in. Yes, if you say that's true, if you say I'm a victim for whatever reason, then I'm going to go play the victim card day after day after day, and I'm going to look at everything through the lens of being a victim, rather than focus on the core mission of why you're in that institution in the first place. It's hard to see in America whether there is any real political philosophy or understanding or adherence to core sets of principles anymore. People seem to blow wherever the politically correct winds blow them to. And it's not just people, it's these institutions. So Yuval Levin is correct. It's not just an overreaching government that's squeezing out our societal institutions. It's not just radical individualism that's squeezing out these great institutions that allow us to commune together on whatever specific cause we choose and volunteer to be involved with. It's the institutions themselves that have made themselves less attractive for us. Viewership is going to go down in pro sports. I'm one of them that doesn't watch as much anymore. Churches are going to lose members. I've been off and on with church for that very reason. Community groups, PTAs, public education is going to lose more students because of their radical agenda. More and more families are choosing private schools or homeschooling. These institutions are killing themselves, but we need them in our society. So the final thought is, what do? We have to stand up and demand that these institutions stick to their core mission and not become poisoned and corrupted by politics. Now, that could mean two things: reforming these existing institutions and getting them back to their core message and mission. That's where the renewal comes in. Or if we have to, we will build new institutions to replace those that have corrupted themselves. Institutions that are focused on a true, narrow mission And when people come together in support of that mission, they know that nothing's going to distract them from that. These societal institutions are a foundation of our great American democracy. We'll debate politics in the political arena. We don't need to debate them on the sports fields. We don't need to debate them on the basketball courts or on the ice or on the links. We don't need to debate them in commercials on TV or at the Grammy Awards. Think of how we lost the viewership that's down with those since they've poisoned themselves. I'm challenging you to become a builder. Join me in becoming a builder. As the book says, A Time to Build. Yuval Levin. Either rebuild something that exists or build something new. This is our challenge. Every one of us has influence in the institution that we either do or once belonged to. Use that voice. Use your social media. Demand that they focus on their mission. Be a builder. You want to do something, I got so many people, what can I do? What can I do? Be a builder. Rebuild or start from scratch. Thanks for your time and patience. For In the Dugout and the Rhode Island Center for Freedom and Prosperity, this is Mike Stenhouse wishing you a good day.